Henry Miller, a famous American author, said of Greece, it takes a lifetime to see Greece, and yet 2 minutes to fall in love with her. And that's the sort of magical spell that Greece has put on me. Even though I was born there, I sort of call myself born in Greece, made in Greece, assembled in Canada, because I was born there, and then I had my first birthday in Canada. So I'm really kind of a combination of the two cultures. And as the older I get, the more I kind of revert back to that older place and those roots of where I come from. So I think that the whole idea of food and Greek culture is really inextricable. Greece is food and food is Greece. You can't really separate those things at all. So I thought it would be great to really show you some of the foods through my eyes, places that I've been, and little interesting techniques, and maybe foods that you haven't seen and some that you are familiar with. So I'm going to start by making something that is called dakos. Dakos, for those of you who've been to Crete, it's kind of like a Greek bruschetta, only it's very, very different in the way it's prepared. So the key ingredient to a dakos is a beautiful barley rusk. By the way, barley is another one of those reasons, furthering what Dr. Pipe said about why the Cretans have lived so long. Barley has really great attributes, almost like oats, really lowering cholesterol. So that, coupled with the olive oil, coupled with the sunshine, coupled with the fish, 150 years. You can't kill the Cretans. You can't kill them. So I thought, this is the perfect first dish to make for you. Now keep in mind the whole idea of terroir. Terroir in Greece cannot be understated. When you take a bite out of a tomato, you taste the ground, you taste the sunshine, you taste that intensity and the amazing aromas. And then sometimes you come back here and you go, so this is a tomato, not really. But what I'm saying is each and every ingredient is so paramount in the Greek cuisine. The quality of each and every ingredient, the season of it, is so critical to get those things in season and keep it simple, really. So dakos, I'm going to just take, how we would make it in Greece is we would basically shred a tomato right on top of this and then plate it. But what I've done here is I've got a little bit of tomato juice, and this is just squeezing really a fresh tomato. Sometimes they soak it in water, and with the water I believe that it gets a little bit soggy, so for me it's about doing things that are going to continue to enhance the flavor and not take away from it. And I think part of my message to you tonight too is that even as a Greek born in Greece, having traveled there many, many times, there's always magic to be discovered, and every time I've gone, I come back and say, I'm just so inspired. I come back and I say, why does it taste so great? Why is it so incredible, the food there? The answer? It's simple. They don't mess around with stuff too much. So I'm going to soak this up a little bit. Now what we've done is we've just crumbled the barley rusk a little bit. The key is to get this to be soaked somewhat, have still a little bit of crunch, but you still need your teeth to chew this, but not too crunchy that it's just too crispy. Okay, so I'm going to lay that down there. And then here is what I call a concassé, but literally in Greece we would grate the fresh tomato, put it on top, and you can imagine how incredible this is. So the first time I tasted this, I was actually importing my first olive oil from the island of Crete. I completely fell in love with it. Because again, I'm talking about when you go and experience this firsthand, it's a very sensual experience, Greece. You smell it, you see it, you hear it. And it's not just the food, it's the food that's tied to the land that you can smell first before you even taste it. So this particular dish, I said, what the heck is dakos? I'm calling it tacos. They're like, no, not tacos, dakos with a D. So Crete is famous for this, but now it has traveled throughout the whole of Greece and it's become quite popular. So I'm going to put on here a little bit of, this is a manouri cheese from Greece. Typically it has mizithra, which is a Greek ricotta, but that's one of the other things. If you've had ricotta or mizithra in Greece, it's nothing like what you're going to have here. It is a spectacular cheese. Again, you're looking under the plate thinking, what else is in there? There's nothing else in there. It's barley rusks, tomatoes, and cheese, and a little bit of oregano, and it blows your mind. So just to take it to another level, I'm going to do a little, what we call in culinary terms, brunoise, a fine dice of red onion for a little crunch. And then I'll tell you a little story about this. This is beautiful Greek mountain oregano. So my husband and I are in the Peloponnese, where my olive oil now comes from, a beautiful region called Mani. And we're sitting in this gorgeous tavern that we love to go to. We go there often. And we're starving, and we were on the beach all day. At one point, the breeze is starting to blow from the sea, and my husband, who's facing me but not the beach, says, "Oh my God, why can I smell my food?" We had no food on our table. So 10 meters behind us, they were getting served a Greek salad. We knew they were getting served a Greek salad. We hadn't seen it, but we could smell it. My husband said, "Oh my God, why does that smell so good?" And just as I turned around, the breeze was blowing towards me. The scent of the tomato, which was extraordinary, the Greek oregano, which was just sort of nestled on top, just a couple of little sprigs, and the fresh olive oil drizzle. I mean, we were 10 meters away. And I said, that is how I epitomize Greek cuisine. It's that every single one of these ingredients has a story to tell. And it's simplicity, and that's why they haven't really messed too much with it. So this is my olive oil from the region of Mani. Fruity, crisp, beautiful. Every single ingredient on here tells the story that you want it to tell. Plain and simple, this is dakos. You can try this at home. The barley rusk really adds another dimension, a great, great flavor. You can buy these in a lot of specialty Greek stores. They're quite readily available, actually. Sometimes they're whole wheat, but this one I wanted to do barley because that's the real one. So now, let's take some heat up. See, the beauty is I can cook on Mars. That's what I've noticed. I just bring my little burner and I can cook anywhere. How much, Mr. Ambassador, how much insurance do we have on this house? Are you sure we have enough? I'm lighting the flame, I'm just going to say. Let me see here. Okay, so far so good, we're good. I love this size. So, dakos is Cretan. We're going to put it aside here. Next dish I'm going to make for you is really a combination that I think is beautiful, and it's inspired by the island of Santorini. So the ambassador told us about Assyrtiko, this beautiful wine that comes from the island of Santorini. Santorini is, to me again, talking about magic personified. The whole thing is this volcanic remnant, and the first time we went there, it completely messes with your mind as to room with a view. If you had had a room on the caldera in Santorini and any other place on the planet where they say, "Oh, you're gonna love the view," like, not even close, dude, not even close. So I love the fact that that place has really made this indelible mark in my head. But it seems very inhospitable, it's very arid, it's very rocky, it's very volcanic. But in that amazing arid soil grow phenomenal things. The beautiful little cherry tomatoes of Santorini are very well known in Europe. We don't know them a lot here, but they're magical, sweet, concentrated, just gorgeous in flavor. Another thing that I'm going to use are the beautiful capers from Santorini. These are in a dry brine. And completely different. You really, again, you smell the tree, you smell the saltiness of the air. It's just incredible. Now, less talking, more cooking, as my mother would say. I'm going to add the olive oil there, and we're going to see what's going to happen. I'm going to throw a few shrimp there, and we're going to do a quick saute. Always good quality olive oil because you want the flavor. Patting dry my shrimp. When it gets just hot, key to a perfect saute is don't crowd the pan. If you put too many things in your pan, right away you drop the temperature and they start to steam. I'm taking a few liberties here because I like this house and the ceilings aren't as high as the Acropolis, so we don't want to torch the place, okay? So, a little bit of shrimp, and of course, the best quality shrimp that you can get, always go for that. Touch of sea salt. If you can find beautiful Greek sea salt, it's lovely. The region of Mani has their own fleur de sel. It's great, beautiful. You see all the salt evaporating from these great pools. So it's a vision that I have of Greece that I absolutely love. Saute that around. I'm going to add the capers. Again, you're going to see simplicity here. Not too many because they're a touch salty. Then we're going in with the beautiful wine of Santorini and maybe an ingredient that you're not that familiar with. So this is called Krokos Kozani. Kozani is a northern region, and Krokos is basically saffron. So how many of you knew that Greece had saffron? Okay, the Greeks all know. But it's true. So there's actually a town called Crocus, which is the crocus flower. It's a slightly different flavor. And if it all flies up at you, I'll just throw it in the air. We're going to put a few little tiny ones of the stamen. So everybody knows, very, very expensive. This is the most expensive spice on earth. Each of these flowers have to be hand-picked. And they're generally hand-picked by women because their hands are more delicate. So it's extremely expensive. Sauté. There's going to be a few extra little goodies under here, but it's all good. Now, I'm going to take some liberties and I'm going to throw in a little bit of lemon juice in there because you really want you want those flavors to sort of marry well and not conflict with one another. My mother tells me I'm a really great cook, but I make a massive, massive mess. But I think that it's directly proportional. How much of a mess you make, that's how great your food tastes. The more of a mess, the better it is. If you're too neat, I mean, how good can it taste? You're just like in your little box, right? All right, vino time. Santorini Assyrtiko. Dry, fruity, but it has a lot of minerality because of that soil that we talk about that's volcanic. The amazing thing, and Assyrtiko has won all kinds of awards globally because compared to, let's say, a Pinot Grigio, it has a lot more body, a lot more oomph, a lot more character. And I think it's time that Canadians learned about Greek wines because there are some really phenomenal Greek wines that have been around for, in the last decade, they've really, really upped the ante a lot. So here we have a beautiful little sauteed shrimp, Santorini style, that's made a la minute right in front of you. No fuss, no muss. This is the idea, and these are the dishes that are inspired by Greece. But really, they just came to me, and I said, okay, I'm going to just make some quick things that I can literally make in the ambassador's living room, which is, not that easy, but Greek food, you can do it. And then to talk again about terroir, this beautiful parsley came from the garden out here. So if I was in Greece, I would go into the backyard and pick some gorgeous herbs and just chop that